Brian, good morning, everyone. I'm Joshua Weisel here in our Weather 225 Storm Studios. I hope you're having a great start to your day so far, and hopefully you have a great rest of your day. And we know it's kind of a big day for many areas as school is now back in session for many of the districts across the region. And, as you're sending your student out here this morning to get back to class and everything along the lines with the school semester starting back up, make sure that your students are staying hydrated today because it's going to be another hot and humid day out there. If they got sports activities, make sure that they're staying hydrated, especially because in the afternoon and the evening, if you have any sort of practice later on, it's going to be really hot out there. You're going to make sure that they're protected from that heat. So younger kids for recess, make sure that they're staying hydrated as well, dressed for the heat because like we said, it's going to be pretty hot outside. And again, if you got sports activities, if you're a coach, if you're a district leader, or if you're an athlete, just, protect yourself from the heat. Keep an eye on the wet bulb globe temperature. I know many of the districts do that around here, and just protect yourself, students or your athletes, from the heat because it's going to be another hot and humid day. And unfortunately, this is going to be a common occurrence as we make our way maybe into the next couple of weeks. So that's a look at what we got there. And if you're working outside today in general, anything along the lines with that, protect yourself from the heat, protect your pets. It's going to be way too hot to walk your pets. Stay hydrated, take those breaks in the shade and in the AC. So that's a look at what we got for today. No highlighted risk for severe weather. So the good news is we can always just kind of blow past that on days like this where there's really nothing to highlight. But there is something interesting to highlight, and I'm not going to show you future scan radar for a very good reason. We got a low chance around 20% for a couple pop-up showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. So again, if you're kind of a coach or a district leader, in addition to the heat, maybe keep an eye on the radar from time to time. We're not expecting major issues or cancellations or any sort of impacts from activity today. It's only about a 20% chance for one of those setups where you get one or two or maybe three little pop-up showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but nothing widespread. But we're not going to show you future scan radar because when we had scattered storms the other day, it didn't do well with that. And every setup we've had recently with the little isolated potential that we get here and there, it never shows it correctly. So we're not going to show you that, but take our word this afternoon, especially southwest Missouri, Arkansas, in the northwest portion, and in the River Valley, far eastern Oklahoma, we could see one or two little pop-up showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and this evening. And in fact, some areas, depending on the activity, it may not move very fast. You could get a couple tenths of an inch of rain to maybe close to an inch of rainfall. Now, not everyone's going to see this activity. And again, it's one of those days, it's really tricky. You may get one or two storms. You may see nothing at all. But we just want you to know, hey, if you're going to be outside today, just keep an eye on the radar, just in case you're not caught off guard by any sort of pop-up shower or thunderstorm activity. The Foghorns morning fog outlook, like we said yesterday evening, no major issues, but parts of the River Valley and the far southern sides, maybe some patchy areas near Mena and Mount Ida. It's really, at this point in time of the year, too warm. Conditions are not that favorable, but the algorithm is kind of showing along in south of I-40, maybe a couple patchy areas that we can't rule out, but like we said, nothing widespread. Huge shout out to Foghorns for sponsoring our channel. Be sure to support them like they support us. An Arkansas original since 2004. They've got awesome wings. They've got all sorts of stuff, so be sure to check them out. And it's especially going to be a fun little spot, as many of you know who have lived here in Northwest Arkansas for years, it's always a great location to watch the game since football season's almost here. So be sure to check them out, support them like they support us. We'd love to, give them some support because we love having them sponsoring our channel. So super thankful for them. Be sure to support them. That's a look at what we got here. Coming up, we've got a full look at that forecast in just minutes. Unfortunately, we've got warmer weather that's going to be remaining in the forecast for the foreseeable future. This is the 8 to 14 day outlook. So, at least for the time being, in the foreseeable future, we're not expecting hot and humid weather to go away. So here's a look at this. And you can see it's hot. It's not going anywhere. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk more about this heat. It's just that time of the year where, it's kind of normal, right? But unfortunately, fall's not getting here soon enough. And one of the problems that we have with this outlook is, notice, The bright red, that's well above, but when you start getting into the shade that's almost a little bit pink, that's into the, well above average. So we may be talking some very hot weather. It doesn't mean record-breaking heat. It doesn't mean that it's going to be, Death Valley temperatures in our, coverage area, but it does mean that there could be some opportunities for extreme heat. Now, unfortunately, in addition to that, the drought that we've been talking about, it's slowly building in, and that's that onset drought that we've been talking about. And it looks like we're not going to see any relief for that anytime soon. The latest outlooks continue to show this below average precipitation in our coverage areas. And notice to the south, we'll have to wait and see what happens later this afternoon with the latest outlook, that this area of well below average precipitation could be making its way further to the north. So as you can see there, that's going to be a problem, unfortunately. And we desperately need some rainfall. So hopefully today we can get some rainfall, but unfortunately that little 20% that you see there, it's not going to be enough to fully beat this drought, unfortunately. And then even more unfortunate, upper 90s into the triple digits across all of our county coverage area over the next 7 days, besides the rain chance that we have for today. Very, similar forecast, River Valley, Northeast Oklahoma, only a couple degree difference. But, when you're talking some days are between 101 and 103, on paper, there's a difference, but how it feels outside, you're not going to notice the difference between if it's 97 degrees with the humidity or 103. So it's looking pretty warm out there. Southwest Missouri, same deal. Just stay hydrated. Make sure you're protecting yourself from the heat. And like we said, if you're a coach, make sure that your athletes are staying hydrated, because that's going to be crucial as we make our way into the next several weeks. I know fall sports season is kicking off once again, if it hasn't already. And the other thing too, as you're headed out the door for work, if you're working outside, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated if you're not working outside. And also make sure that your kids are staying hydrated as well. I know with recess and everything along the lines with that, for some of the younger kids, it's an exciting time. Get back to school, see your friends and everything along with the school semester. But make sure they're staying hydrated, because it's going to be really hot outside the next couple of weeks, potentially. So protect yourself, protect your kids, protect your pets. It's going to be, kind of the same thing that you're going to hear over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. But be sure to tune into these forecast segments, because we always got something to talk about in terms of the weather. So that's why we're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your day.